Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today, we got an episode for you guys here today that we definitely want you guys to stick around for. So please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. So today, we're going to be talking about the Clippers and Kawhi Leonard. Now, let me give you guys the background quickly. As y'all know, Kawhi Leonard is my favorite player. Really started supporting him back in the San Antonio days, especially when he started training with Kobe. I could see flashes of Kobe Bryant and Kawhi Leonard's game, and just something that made me gravitate towards him, given that Kobe is my favorite player of all time. And then, of course, when he went on that magical run with the Toronto Raptors, I thought that was an incredible run. And then I was one of those people that was very high on the Clippers capturing their first championship as a franchise when Kawhi got there that first year with Paul George, but ultimately they blew that 3-1 lead in the conference semifinals to the Denver Nuggets. And then the year after that, they made it to the Western Conference Finals, but he got injured in the second round, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, in the second round against the Utah Jazz. So after a year of him not playing basketball, I thought that coming into this season, given the fact that he's been away for well over a year, that we're going to be able to see Kawhi Leonard back in full effect. But then when the season started, there were some things that started to concern me. The first thing was the fact that he came off the bench in the first game that he played, and then he only played 2 out of the first 4 games. And then all of a sudden now he went like, I think 6-7 games without playing. Then he played about 1 or 2 games, and then you're hearing something about a twisted ankle. And I'm like, what the hell is really going on? Yesterday, while I was relaxing, I got a notification from ESPN that came to my phone. And it had to do with the Clippers, an article. And when I read it, I was like, this would be a very interesting topic to cover today. And some of the things that were said in this article were quite jarring that I want to get into right now. So let me just get into the article here. I believe it was written by Brian Windhorst. Starts off, one of the most famous hands in televised poker history took place in 2007 on a show called High Stakes Poker, which featured high-end cash games. In the Heat Play 2006 World Series of Poker Championship, Jamie Gold called a bet by dropping $100,000 in a bundle of $100 bills onto the table, even though his opponent, old school pro Sam Farha, openly told him he was holding pocket aces and therefore was way ahead. Why? The incredulous Farha, who often played with an unlit cigarette in his mouth, groaned at the call. "I have to, I'm sorry," Gold snapped back. Gold was pot committed. He had so much invested he couldn't allow himself to give up despite facing poor odds. The $400,000 pot ended up with Farah aces beating kings. The Los Angeles Lakers are owned by a poker player, Steve Ballmer. He and Bill Gates used to have late night card sessions in their Harvard dorm, according to a 2002 interview. Not just because they were peeling what became Microsoft startup money from trust fund kids, but because they loved the strategy, acquiring and applying information. Ballmer's franchise is pot committed. The Clippers feel it every day. Every time they turn in an injury report with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George on it. When LA played Sunday, a 114-110 win against the Indiana Pacers, Leonard was inactive for the 106th time in the last 111 Clippers game. Number 107 will be Tuesday night. George didn't play Sunday and will miss at least the next 2 games, making him inactive for 57 of 80 Clippers games. This is maddening to many of the franchise's fans. It's fodder for media members who want to relitigate the 2019 trade that sent what looks like now a potential superstar in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to the Oklahoma City Thunder, plus a treasure trove of draft picks and pick swaps. It seems to sometimes press Coach Ty Lue to the edge too. "That was too nasty," Lue said last week when he looked back on the questionable but Leonard preferred strategy of sitting until midway through the second quarter as he returned from 16 months away. "I didn't like it," he said. "I mean, you got the best player. You look down sometimes. The game's going for so long and you forget. Then assistant coach Brian Shaw come up and tap you on the shoulder. 6-7 minutes to go in the second quarter, and you'd be like, oh, Kawhi ready. Oh, I forgot because the game's going." A third consecutive season that has been affected by star injuries has led doubt that this core will reach its potential. They are middle of the pack, 12-9, 3 games from the first 3 games from 12. Leonard has once again become a target for those questioning his ability to stay healthy and manage injuries. George, as has happened in the last tenure, in his LA tenure, has been criticized for not showing more aggression. Early in the season, Lou had to pull George in for a pep talk and motivate him by saying, you can't take a back seat, after he openly admitted he planned to take one to Leonard upon his return. Despite all that, all signs point towards the Clippers keeping their chips firmly in the middle and adding to the pot if needed. So you heard the article. It was a bit lengthy. Here are my thoughts on this. As a Kawhi Leonard fan, I don't know what to think at this point for a few reasons. Number one, because of his history with injuries. And number two, because of how tight-lipped the Clippers are as an organization. No one really knows what they're really planning, what their strategy is, especially from the medical staff. So you're left in the dark. And by them doing that, it creates a lot of doubt in the fans that support the team, that go to the games, because they don't really know what they're getting. Now, last night, they were able to come away with an impressive win where Norman Powell, I believe, scored 22 points in the fourth quarter. And I think wins like that don't excite Clipper fans. I think it infuriates them because they see what this team is capable of without their stars. And then they sit back and they say to themselves, can you imagine what this team would be like if we were only healthy? And in the case of Kawhi and Paul George, there's always some type of shroud of secrecy around them. You don't really know what's going on. You don't really know. And to me, I don't want to say I've lost hope on Kawhi. I think I'll come to a decision at the end of the season, depending on what happens. As y'all know, I believe that if Kawhi Leonard is healthy, he's the best player in the playoffs, period. This is just my opinion. People will say other people. I'm not here to argue that. It's just my opinion. But it's hard to make to take a strong position on Kawhi when I don't even know what this guy's season is going to look like. Is he going to be playing regular games and regular minutes at all? No one knows, right? So I don't even know what to think, to be honest with you. The other day we put up a poll on the channel where we asked the question, if you were in a Clippers position, would you consider trading Kawhi? And I said yes, because I don't know what I'm getting. If I'm the Clippers, I don't. Now, maybe if you're inside the Clippers organization, you say no because you have more information. But from the outside looking in, it's just very foggy and frankly disappointing. So these are my thoughts and opinions. What I want to know from you guys, what do you think about this report? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section, and we'll catch you guys on the next show.